Hello everyone, this is FallenDice, and welcome to episode 23 of Burpcraft Feed the Beast with FallenDice. Before we get to where we are here, it's kind of just a little taste of what's going on. I've been busy doing some of the off-screen work, and I haven't done any extra building. There's no new buildings or anything, but I've kind of been touching up the power, energistics, things like that. So first off, and I had to add in a second item over here lately. We have the cobble destruction, which is receiving refractory wax. I was just getting way too much of that. So I'm destroying both those cobble and refractory wax when it gets over a certain point. But, as you can see, we did a lot of change on the power setup. So basically, I'm preparing for the future. So right now, I have 10 inputs. And right now, I still only have the 6. But the best part is that these are all connected on the input. So when I'm using a lot of power on one, but not on the other one, the power that is being sent to it, instead of just being wasted, moves along and helps fill them up. So they're all filling each other up. And this is probably what I should have done in the first place. But in the other cool part is in the meantime, while I still only have like the 6 inputs, on the back side, I can have 2 outputs that are the same name. So this is output 6, and this is output 6. So technically, I can output 400 MJ a tick on one line. So that kind of helps me with feeding some of the more power-hungry areas, including the ME area upstairs. So that was the first thing I got to. I didn't do anything new with the trees. That's still looking the same. Pretty much everything kind of happened inside here. So we'll move up to the next area, and you can already see the difference here. I got rid of the piping that I was using to keep these all filled. Now it's just straight ME. So you can see it fills up cobble and phosphor by stack. So as soon as it uses one of these to help fill my lava, it automatically refills it. And as long as I have the items in my storage, which we have 10, we always keep a stock of 10,000 cobble. And I got 17,000 phosphor, so I have no problems of ever having this go out. And in addition, I don't have the issue of all the items running through the pipes, which while it looked cool, I think was definitely having a lag effect on my gameplay. So that was kind of one of the reasons for doing this. And I don't know if I showed this or not, but this is just a way to manually shut off a bank of engines if I feel like I don't need it. I plan on having eventually down the road a setup with wireless and stuff, so when downstairs, when a couple of the a couple of the banks of redstone energy cells are full, it'll send up a signal which will power this line and shut off the engine, so I don't have to have them all running at once. But again, I'm gonna kind of change that up once I get a few more some more power going, and the power actually is going to be happening on this here. I will be putting in more magmatic engines and stuff here because my power usage is going up, and when I get to building our assembly room with the lasers and stuff, I'm going to need that. You can also see now I have all of my Alviaries filled, and they're pumping away. Oh, I haven't turned these on. These are the last 4 I put in. I didn't turn on the gate yet. But that's simple enough. I'll do those real fast, because I always say that I haven't done it yet, and then I plan on doing it, and then when I stop recording, and then of course I don't. And not like it's a huge issue, but you know, it's kind of cool. Now, again, the theme of a lot of this is excess lag. So the next area that I went to, and at some point I may even decide to add energistics to this area as well. Once I have the power, because the thing is you know, when you have that on there, I don't have, you know, hundreds of entities flying around in pipes behind the scenes. Let's see, we'll skip that, come up to here. So here's where the next big change happened. Back here used to be, I mean, there was so much going on back here, it was insane. And you can also see I've doubled the amount, and I had to, because the amount of simmering comb I have coming through my system, and you can see this entire bottom row is simmering comb centrifuges, and they are all full. That's how much I'm producing. And then down here, as I eat real fast, the first half of my upper banks are also. That's how much lava we're producing. So I don't have any issues now that I'm producing enough phosphorus comb. So that's good. But I don't think I have much of anything on here. Oh, yeah, I got some dripping comb. I'm setting this up now to process some of my other combs. How do I do that? Aha, ebony and rocky come into this one. Parched and cocoa. And you can already tell, that's ME. Wow. So much different. Now, instead of that insane, I think I had almost 10 item tesseracts running back here, trying to sort everything. And it was kind of like the first bank would fill, and then, like, you know, it'd be half a stack, and then a quarter stack, and then, you know, it wasn't very balanced. So by doing it this way, I've now got everything set up in here. It automatically is going to keep filling these as long as I have the comb available for it, and then pump it right out back into my system. So I don't have to worry about where I send things. I can pretty much, everything I have now, I can just send into my storage input, which is fantastic. Over here, and I've been using quite a bit of honey because I was making a lot of these. Oh wow, back up to another 3,800, almost 3,900 scented panelings. Now that I have my tree farm, nothing stops me. That was my weak link. I had the honey but not the tree. But over here you can see that we are back to more ME. So this is to pump out my propolis. So we'll come over here. The back side, we have our export buses, which are sending in honey drops. What I need to do is, technically, I can add in honeydew as well. So if I were to go over here and tell it we want honeydew as well, now she's going to start filling it up with honeydew. And that will keep filling up our honey. And then, of course, we still use this as our liquid honey out. Once I fill up here, then I can just basically start pumping it to spawn. And I did that for a while. That was why this kind of went down. I pretty much emptied it from here, sent it to spawn, and then I flipped the switch back on to start filling it back up again. Plus with my scented paneling work, that's been kind of filling it up as well. So that's where we are here. Now, my plan for today, if I will stop jumping too soon, is our floor here. I'm going to start producing some of our other items. And so what I've set up here is, this is just simply a recycler. So I can put in, you know, a couple bees, and it'll basically produce me a bunch of the drones. And the reason for that is like I said, we've started on this. So here we are. Got some copper comb and some corroded bees here. That was the first there. Well, actually, the first step was to get all of the Rockies, because we had to get to resilient to get to this point. So we've been doing over here. You can see I've got the tolerant, then the hardy, and then the resilient species. So now I can kind of produce those. And I'm basically, as I'm going up the steps of the ladder, I keep adding in. Over here, these are mutator blocks that are part of the extra bees. That's simply made by taking a normal alviary with the diamantine electron tubes, which is basically the diamond version, and some gold. And then what we can do is, if you put in, depending on what you put in there, it increases the chance of a mutation. So if we were to, say, put in uranium ore, which I am, that gives you a 10% increased chance. So 5 of them means it puts me at 50%, and the basic mutation chance is at 50% or 2%, so that gives me a 100% chance of mutation. If I had the wither stars, or nether stars, those are 50 on their own, so only one of those would give me that. But I have so much uranium that this is the best way for me to do it. So I'm just slowly, as I'm going up the route, I think the resilient and the diligent was what it took to get the tarnished, rusty, corroded, and one other one. But that's like your tin, copper, iron, and one other one. So what I've got going on here, this is where I was before. Okay, so we have a tarnished, rusty, corroded, and tarnished. So I basically upped it from 1 fertility to 4. So what I'm hoping to do is to get some more to play with. So here we go. This is what I just did over here. So I'll do the same thing here, putting them in, trying to get multiple DNA inputs, and eventually when I can get enough to pull out the tarnished, because so far I've already pulled out corroded. Once I get enough to pull out tarnished, then I can basically come over here, take one of my perfect fiendish princesses and a perfect fiendish drone, and then imprint that on them, and it basically gives me a perfect bee already. It'll already have the +5s on everything, all the flyer, nocturnal cave things, everything. So that's the way I'm working on this. So I basically playing with this to get some stuff, and then trying to get me more material. And then once I get a few, then I go ahead and try and pull out. And if I'm lucky enough to get a purebred on either or, then I can just basically mass produce like I'm doing over here, and that makes it easier for me to get the material out. But that's where we are right now. So I'm going to keep playing with this till I get a few more of the species I want. Once I get those, then we'll come back in and we're going to start laying out this room with the actual alveary blocks, which is kind of why I've been doing all this with the scented. And I've already actually even have, if you look here, I got 91 alveary blocks already to begin with. So we're getting ready to be able to do this section and then set up the processing upstairs, and then we should be able to start mass producing our ores and ingots without having to run any more quarries, which is kind of like my basic plan here. I don't want to have to run quarries all the time, because it definitely not the best for the server. Plus it keeps the their permanent chunk load, so even when I'm logged out, it still keeps it in. Normally we only have the personal anchors. So anyway, so like I said, I'm going to keep working on this for a while. Once I am ready to start proceeding, we'll come back and we'll start working on that. So I will see you guys in a few. All right, we that took a while, and not as long as it would have taken had I had to do this the old-fashioned manual way. But even so, wow, I couldn't even imagine having to go through all the mutations we did. This thing is amazing. So you can see I started out with 64 and we're down to 7. So I mean, it's not super, the numbers aren't super insane, but it sure seemed like it. So over here, this is my good one. This is just garbage, and I don't even know. I may just decide to break this at some point just to make all these disappear and stuff. But over here is pretty much a princess or queen and at least close to a stack of drones. So, you know, we got the normals and stuff in here, but as we start to move down, things start getting interesting. Corroded, rusty, resolute, fortified, rubies, emeralds, sapphires, nuclear, diamonds, fossil, primeval, elastic, river, ocean, stained, viscous, sticky, gluttonous, energetic, excited, frigid, absolute, darkened, abysmal, lustered, lustrous. So I'm figuring there's about 23 or 24 different things that I want to actually farm. So a lot of these were just steps in the process to get to the bees I actually wanted. And then looking in the room like this, you know, if I put 6 here and 6 is 12, and I could probably fit them across here. But, you know, then it would just look, you know, like this room and this room. You know, I wanted something a little bit different for this setup here. So what I'm thinking is I'm actually going to go a little bit bigger this time. And not bigger, wider apart. So normally I just have one block between them. So let's figure, we'll start here. So we'll skip 2 blocks. So I got 1, 2, 3. Skip 2, 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 1, 2, 3. Okay, now this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Be 10, 20. See, that's already done. I need 4. Alrighty. So let's see. The way it's set up right now, 1, 2, 3, 4. That gives me 4 more extra blocks. So 1, maybe extra in the middle too. That's an idea. So let's see. So we go 3 over here. 3 again. 3 over here. And then there's 3. And then we'll start it from this side again to give it the look. And it should be an extra large, kind of like passageway in between them. Or extra small. So 3, 3, 2, 3, 3, 2. That could work. Alright, so here's the plan. This one is actually going to start down here. So we're only going to see the top row of Alviary blocks and the half slab on this. And then we'll skip a row here. And then we're going to put the second one back here. And that'll basically come up to this point from the basic level here with the half slabs along this level here. So it's going to kind of give us kind of like a tiered look as we look across, and I think it might actually look kind of cool. The second thing is we're going to start this right off the bat using our ME stuff. And I already did some checking and found out that I can have a single ME export bus going into the Alviary, and it's going to basically fill it up with everything we need it to. So it can fill it up with both a drone and a princess from our inventory, and then the same thing is it'll send the excess, or the bees when they're hatched. When the queen dies and sends a princess and drones there, it's going to send them into our system. So the things we've got to do first off is I set up a way to kind of cleanse my system. I had so many bees in here from my when I was doing the mutations that I'd actually used up all my drives with the number of items, so I had to kind of dispose of that. So right now down here I've got a kind of a system set up to dispose of excess bees, and initially I just had it to just destroy them all, but I'm gonna have to actually change things around. So what I may end up having to do is have something like this set up, one for each species. That way I can put a level emitter on it to tell it to keep, you know, say 1 stack of the drones in the system, and anything else other than that will get sent into the excess bees, which goes and gets turned into DNA, and the extras of that just get voided. So that'll be kind of an off-the-camera thing I'll probably do here on the side. But up here, in addition to having import and export buses for the regular bee part, we're also going to be doing something else. Let's see. Oops, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do this. We're going to add in frame housing. So I'm going to have to make quite a bit of golden electron tubes for this, but I'm figuring probably at least 3, or I'm sorry, at least 6. We'll figure we'll put, like, say 6 of the frame housing in each one of these. And I'll kind of work out how I'm going to do this once I get this set up here. And I don't want it to be kind of hidden. I don't want to be able to see any of the any of our ME cables or anything. I just want to have them sitting right here, and these ones it'll be coming from underneath, and these ones it'll be from the back down here. So I may have to, well, I can do it from the side, so that'll be fine here, and this gives me 9 blocks on these and plenty on here, so that'll work there. And then in addition, what are we going to fill them with? We are going to fill them with impregnated frames. I went through and set me up a system. I'll come back over here and I'll show you. One of the bees that we discovered was the exotic bee. And while it was a stepping stone to get to one of the other bees I wanted, it had something that I really liked in the fact that it had, or it gave out the most of the silky comb. Actually, let me show you this real fast because it's just kind of cool. These are all the combs I kind of have in my system right now. But our silky comb is what gives us our silk wisp. And early on, you know, we use them to create our apiary suit. But another cool thing that our silk wisp does, 3 silk wisps give us string. I love using bees to basically make everything, so why not do this? I was initially thinking of some kind of way of making a flax farm or something like that until I realized all I had to use was my exotics. So using the level emitters back here again, we're telling it to leave a certain number of silk wisp in the system, and then once we have anything over that, it turns it on and starts pumping these out. So if we look right now, I've got basically 121 silk wisp in the system. And at the time it goes above that, it'll actually make me some string. And string, I've got a lot of that in my system now, which I could even use that now to make wool if I wanted. If I started getting a lot of excess. But what we're then doing is with another level emitter in the back, we're basically telling it to keep a certain number of impregnated frames in our system as well. So whenever the frames get used up there by what we're about to do, and it reaches a certain level, it's going to then create more of our frames. As the frames use the string, you know, it'll keep getting replenished by our silk wisp. So we should have, I'm pretty sure we should have a infinite supply now of frames that we don't even have to worry about. And since they'll be in our ME system and we'll have our MEK export buses hooked up to all the Alviaries, we aren't even going to have to worry about replacing frames or anything. This is all going to be 100% fully automatic, running in the background as soon as we get this set up. So I'm kind of excited about this. So, and the reason why we're doing the frames for those ones is just because we're only going to have one of each of these types of bees. So, you know, one iron bee, one diamond bee. So it doesn't hurt to put in frames in there to help increase the output of what we're doing here. So let's go ahead and let's get started on this first one to kind of get a feel for how this is going to look. And let's see, do I have the ME cable running through here already? I'm not sure if I do or not. Let's go here so I can get underneath and take a peek. Okay, good. It's right there. Alright, so let's extend our cable here. And I'm going to need quite a bit of cable again. Get ready to use up more power. Oops. Let's see. And this is just so I can do my first one here in this area here, and then once we get it up and running, then I can reproduce it over and over in all the other areas we're going to be going to. Okay, so now we've got our ME cable over here to where we're going to be putting in our first of our alviaries. We seal this back up. And let's see. So everything's going to be on this floor here, so I'm probably going to be... the only one I'm not going to be able to access is going to be that middle. And actually I could, because thanks to ME I can use facades. So, okay. But anyway, let's see. First off, we are going to... You know what? I need to make my housing frames. I've got plenty of alveary blocks already pre-crafted, so let me go and set up my frame housings, and I will be right back. Alrighty, let's get going on this. So, my initial desire for, say, 6 in each of these, ooh, that, if we're putting in, say, 25 of these alvearies, 6 in each, now we're talking about 150 altogether. That by itself isn't that big of a deal. However, that means it's 150 export buses. So what I'm thinking is maybe I'll start with 3 in each. And that should be, you know, more than enough to get us going. and then we'll kind of see how things are looking. And as I get more, and it's the golden gates. Man, I'm drawing a blank on this. The redstone, the gold chipsets. There we go. That's the issue. And until I get my own personal assembly room, I'm having to run to spawn or run over to Acatera's and take my stuff with me and build them over there. So right now I don't have the ability to just kind of have that do it while, keep me a full stock. Once I get my own, I can just tell it to always keep, 100 on stock or 100 on hand or something. So for now, I think we're going to give myself plenty of room to move around down here. But we're just going to go 3 for now, just to kind of get the proof of concept and get the initial build done. Alrighty. Now, that's that in place. The items that we're going to need is, like I said, lots of export buses. Alright, so we'll just put these ones right here. One there, and one there. And let me get out. And then over here, we're going to need one import bus. So we're going to be taking all of our items out or into our system from these Alviaries. So let's see. And I should just basically have to run this to there. And then on this side, I still need to put one more export bus. And this export bus, let me get back up here. This export bus is going to be, it's because I haven't finished building it yet. Okay. But this one is actually going to be to put in our queen and our drones. Alright. So this is all basically put together now. Let me get out of here so I can continue to add these in. And as soon as I put the half slabs on the top, this one should actually be fully functioning and ready to go. And then I'm kind of, like I said, then we'll put the one behind it because I'm curious to see how it's going to look. But I have a feeling this is probably going to be pretty cool because, well, here, let's do this first. You are going to be, what's our first bee going to be? Energetic. I think that is our redstone bee. Actually, no, we'll go with the abysmal first. I think that actually is our... Nope, diamond. That's it. We're going to start with diamonds because, diamond is what you always spend your entire Minecraft career trying to get is to the diamonds. So let's see. Where is our diamond bee? He is in here somewhere. No, I think it must be down this way further. Emerald. There it is, right there. Okay. Diamond queen. Oops, and actually... I'm going to have to put the excess into my storage system now. Alrighty, so, are you guys, you're not, okay, good. That's the key, because the ones in the storage system will have to be the unidentified. Alright, so we want, not the queen, that's not good. Okay, I'm going to have to actually stick you in here for now. Dang it. A queen. And actually most of these aren't they? Okay, give me 1 sec. I'm gonna stick him in here just to get it down to the princess section, and then I'll come back and we'll carry on. Alright, so now we've got princess. So we're gonna put the princess there, and we're gonna put the drone here. I always like to say stacks of items just so that it's not slowing anything. So as we're looking here, there's nothing in there at all. As soon as I put these into my ME system, boom, they are in there. Now, we need to come over here. And those impregnated frames we've been making. All we need is one. So we'll tell this over here. I want a frame in there, frame in there, and a frame in there. And I don't need to go stacks because you can only have one at a time anyway. So now as you look in there, there we go. Frame in the housing, frame in the housing, frame in the housing. So we are now stocked and ready to go. Flowers. That was one of the other things I'd planned on using for this. Here's, I think this row here I'm going to have raised. So we'll probably go through this right now and just basically cut this all out. And reason being, number one, for lighting, and number two, so I can conceal the dirt. The dirt and the flowers. So we'll grab some dirt. And let's see. Do I have some roses? There we go. I'd rather use those. Gotcha. So now I can come over here. We're going, what, 3 between it? So, say we'll put it right here. And put our flower there. And you should be close enough to satisfy that now. We'll pop it to reset it. And we'll add more in as we go. But then this will be, like I said, have that. And I might even put the covers between them too. We'll see what looks cooler, what kind of gives it the best effect. Alrighty. I don't have... There we go. Good to go. Alright. So now this is ready to go. And any of the... Once the queen dies, it's going to suck the queen and all of the items out. And the other thing too about this is no longer do I have to wait till the queen dies to get the items out. As soon as a comb ends up in here, it's going to get pulled out into the system. So it actually allows me to be processing all the time. And as soon as a pregnated frame is destroyed, it's automatically going to fill it up with another one from the system. So that part's taken care of now as well. So this is all by itself. And that, like I'd said before, the frames are self-populating. So as soon as I go down to a certain level of frames missing, it will instantly start making more for me. I also have it set to keep a certain number of the sticks needed for them. Is it an impregnated stick? It is. Yep. So I'm keeping a certain number of impregnated sticks and everything. Everything's being kept in a certain stock level so it can constantly fill these frame houses up by itself. So, all right. Well, let me see. I want to see how this looks now once I close it all the way back up again. I'm curious to see how... I like it. Cool. And it'll be cool to see the one behind it there, so we'll be able to see both of them, and I think it'll give a different type of look to this. And I haven't decided if I'll leave this completely open or if I want to make some type of wall. We'll see once I get more of these done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add in the rest of this wall here. And then we'll come back when we're ready to kind of see what we want to do about the front face of this. So, all right, I'll be back in a few. Alright, so 2 things discovered. One, I had to do this for the queen, or the princesses. Even though I had the input saying to put in the princesses, unfortunately, they had the same ID and everything, but and when I went in and added it in a second time into the export bus, it put it in one time. But the princess that came out, once again, didn't go into the Alviary. So we're going to have to, for the B parts, do this the same way. So what I've done on the import bus is I'm putting the combs that can come out of the hive over here. So it's only pulling that out and not the bees. So that should work. I may have to make it so the drones go in here as well. And I'm also considering elongating their lives now because... since we're trying to get items, the last thing I want to do is have them just close to when they export like a diamond and have it die and have to start all over again. So I'm probably going to change the life cycles of all these to be longer so that we can get better items. But anyway, let me get back to work on this and I will be back in a few. Alright, so we're back over here. I got my first 4 put in. Ooh, looks like we got a friend over here too. And everything's set up the same ways before. I don't have the bees in yet because I researched and got the longest life, and I'm actually taking and putting all of my bee groups through here right now to get the longest life serum from it. And I've got another thing of the serum in stock waiting for each one of these, so once it actually runs out, we just go ahead and put in the next one. But you'll see some of the bees tarnished, sticky, and I've got these ones all ready to go in my inventory. And then over here, these are the first two that I've already gotten it. So, yeah, yuck. I don't want those in my inventory. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this, put these in here for right now. I'm going to stick that as a placeholder, just so it's easy to tell where the untreated bees are. There we go. And then we'll put these back in my inventory. Now, looking over here, while this is going on, I can do a little bit of building. As cool as this is, it definitely is not the way... I don't want it open. So we are definitely going to put this behind some walls. So we'll grab our usual suspects. I got a portable hose. Simply came by and gave that to me as a gift. I haven't touched any of the Thaumcraft stuff, and not that I'm not ever going to, but there's so much stuff that I have to work on right now that's just the least of my worries is to get into the Thaumcraft stuff. So for now, I'm just going to be happy with the Applied Energistics, which is my current focus, obviously, and the bees and stuff like that. All right, so our what would they call it, mutating, but our elongating of their lives is complete. I figured I'd go over all the different bees now that we're going to be producing over in here. Diamond, obviously, we've seen here. So what we got after this now is we have the Energistic, which is going to give us redstone, or energetic, sorry. Energetic is going to give us the redstone. The Rusty is going to give us our iron. The Glittering will give us gold. The Corroded is going to give us the copper. And the Tarnished is going to give us tin. The Shining is giving us silver. And Resolute gives us the bronze. The Radioactive is going to give us more uranium, sorry. Elastic actually gives us rubber, which is very helpful. The Sticky are going to give us slime balls. Volcanic is going to also give us blaze powder. The Absolute give us this Kelvin drop, which we can use for a really good cooling liquid. I'm not using it, but I'll send it to spawn probably. The Abysmal is going to give us pulverized obsidian, which is awesome. The Leaden is pulverized lead. Brazen is going to give us our brass blend. And the Precious is giving us the Electrum blend. So some of the things that we have to normally do a lot of extra work to get, it's going to give us automatically. Fortified gives us steel. Lapis, self-explanatory, is going to give us lapis. Same with the emerald and the ruby and sapphire. We have Lustered, which is going to give us ferrous metal. And Lustrous, which gives us the Invar blend. Another one of those, difficult, well, not difficult, but just, takes some extra work to get to. Our Stained is going to give us ink sacs. Great way to get those. And of course, the Farmed is going to give us seed oil. And the Exotic here is the upgraded version of the Tropical. So we're going to get our Silky Comb that we're using to make all of our string for our frames. And I got a couple extra spots here, so I'm just going to go ahead and start doing some of the oil ones. I'll figure out which one does the most of the oily comb, and we'll get working on that. So here we go. One of the things I did is I kind of decided to take the edge off here, so we don't see the window anymore. But I think it looks a little bit better, and plus with some more texture in the back, I like how that looks. And once again I kind of clean all this up, I think it'll look better as well. And then back here, this is how the back looks, and they're all three apart, which I think looks pretty good. Again, we have a walkway to get inside, and then we redid that over here as well. So far it looks pretty good, I think. We don't see the lava here anymore, but that's alright. I like how this looks instead now, and it'll kind of complete this floor here. So what we do now is it's time, and luckily I haven't gotten rid of any of this, so I have all the applicable combs to go along with these different bees, which will make it easier. But even without, I could still, once they start producing, it's not going to pull anything out until the item is put in the import bus. So we're going to go ahead, or actually I'll go ahead because I don't need to do this part on camera here, but I'm going to go ahead and stock all of these alviaries up. And when I'm done with that, I will come back once I have this all cleaned up and finished up, and we'll see how this looks. Alright, so this is how she looks, and I think she turned out pretty well. Flattening out the walls level with the back alveary kind of tightened up the space a little bit, so it didn't look quite as open and empty, so to say. So you can see in there, they're all busy producing. And if we pop over here to combs now, we are definitely filling up now. So yeah, this turned out really well. Next thing is to go up to here and set these up to start accepting some of the different combs and start producing, but we are good to go. So not sure what our next one's going to be. I think I'll probably take a look around. Maybe it's time to do a little more building again, build another part of the structure out there. But for now, we are rolling in the ingots, gems, and all kinds of other fun stuff. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.